First, I want to say thanks to the guys for the opportunity to speak with you this evening, but I have to say I struggled a little bit with this topic. When Brendan asked me for my top 3 tips on running a successful online campaign, there's so many moving parts to a digital marketing campaign and so much has changed lately. To come up with 3 instead of 100 was really difficult, but I think I've done it, and I think I've boiled it down to 3.
You can hand out a checklist after, mate, with the rest on.
Yeah, and then there'll be a test. So, first, tip number 1 is to make sure you're really clear, very, very clear about who you help and how you help them. And this is like one of the least sexy parts of marketing, I have to say. Who's done their client persona exercise? Good. Oh, some hands. Oh, I love it. Who enjoyed it? Really? I don't think we can be friends anymore. However, it's foundational stuff, and getting this right will underpin everything else that you do with your marketing campaign, not just online, but marketing generally. So get really clear on who you help and how you help them. And that means not just understanding demographics, right? So things like age, gender, occupation, 2.4 kids, all that kind of stuff is still really important. But more important than that now is psychographics, and that's understanding fears, frustrations, goals, desires. Make sure you get really clear on that sort of stuff. And that's going to help you create messaging that appeals to your ideal customer. It's going to help you create offers that are really engaging. And if you're not sure how to do that, because one of the questions we get a lot is, how do we know that? There's a really, really effective tactic that we use that a lot of marketers tend to overlook. Ask people. Don't laugh, it's not funny. Genuinely, ask your customers why they work with you and what it is that they get out of working with you. More than that, ask ex-customers, people who left you, why they left. Sometimes that can be really confronting. You will get some very, very useful information out of that. That will be a window into what it was that you weren't helping them achieve, or the problems that you weren't solving for them. And focus a lot on goals and desires. So it used to be, with marketing, it used to be that we would pick a pain point that somebody had and we would agitate that pain point and we would really agitate it, and then we would put forward a product or a service as a solution to the problem. Now, more than that, it's about goals and desires and picking a goal that somebody has and talking about how we can help them achieve that and making people feel good and putting positive messaging out into the world. And as marketers, we feel better about ourselves, but also think about it from the consumer's point of view. Would you rather deal with a business that makes you feel inadequate and less than you really are, or somebody who makes you feel good and positive? So goals and desires are really effective and very important now. So tip 1, get really clear on who is your ideal customer. Step 2, have a plan. Sounds really obvious, doesn't it? One of the most common things we come across is business owners and marketers who just don't have a plan. So as human beings, we go through a process when we make decisions. We become aware that we've got a problem, or a goal, or a desire. We become aware that there are solutions to that problem or ways to achieve that goal or that desire. We become aware that there are people who supply that, and then we think about it and make a decision on who we're going to buy that from. Your marketing plan needs to outline how you're going to move people through that process or through that customer value journey or through those stages of awareness. So you want to be thinking about things like, what type of content do I need to create if I'm talking to people who are only just becoming aware? So at that stage, you want longer, more informative, less sales-focused content. That could be something like a podcast. Talk to Brendan if you want to learn about podcasting. Or a blog. Could be an ebook, could even be a webinar. As people move through that journey and they start considering specific products, then you might want a piece of content that's a bit shorter, that's got a more direct call to action. It could be a webinar where you're going to try and close a sale. But have a plan. It doesn't have to be a complicated plan, and in fact, often the most robust plans are the simplest. But think about, how am I going to move people from this stage to that stage, and what do I need to create at each step of the journey? And step number 3 is to be really purposeful with your promotions. And what I mean by that is, don't get caught up in all of this, I've got to be showing up every day on every platform and creating new content and doing stories and doing reels and doing TikToks and oh my goodness, it's exhausting. And you know what? It doesn't actually work. I've never seen it work. I've never seen it consistently generate sales or leads for a business. I've seen it burn out entrepreneurs and I've seen it stress business owners, but I haven't seen it generate sales or leads. So be purposeful. Pick 2 or 3 platforms where you know your ideal customer is going to be hanging out. Can we go back to the client persona for a minute? Because if you've done that, you'll know those things. You'll know where they're going to be. And then create 2 or 3 pieces of content a month. Only has to be 2 or 3 pieces of content a month, but make them really meaningful. Again, a podcast, a webinar, something that's got substance and something that specifically achieves one of the steps in your plan that you just created at step 2. And then decide who you want to show that content to, create audiences using the social platforms and put some budget behind it to bring people to that content. Yes, you need a budget. You're going to be paying for advertising. I hate to tell you that. All of the platforms are pay to play now. If you can do that, if you can understand your client persona really well, if you can have a plan, and then if you can use your platforms purposefully in order to drive people to those bits of content, you're going to give yourself the best possible chance of running an effective online campaign. And if I can do a bonus tip 4, your offer is the one thing that can really move the needle on your campaign. It doesn't have to be a paid offer, it can be your free offer. So if you're building a list, for example, and you have something you want people to download, make sure you put time and effort into creating that. Who's read a book called $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy? Yes? Great book. It's on Amazon for like $1.40 or something. Seriously. Get it and read it, and it'll give you a step-by-step on how to create a killer offer. And that's the one thing that can really move the needle on your campaigns. And even your free offers, you need to give people a good reason to opt in for that or to subscribe to that offer, because we're so time poor, right? Who's really busy? Who's got a lot of stuff going on? So bonus tip number 4, have a killer offer. Check out that book. I'm here all week. No, if anybody wants to chat about marketing, I'm always up for a chat. Isaac, thanks mate.
Yeah, thanks.